Okay, so I'm embroidering, and I started with stuff like this bag. I'm making, I don't know, Halloweeny stuff, and it's July. Anyways, these are the kinds of things that I drew for it. I don't know, pumpkins, skulls, a cauldron with some beads. So I start by drawing it out so that I can have some kind of pattern to follow. I decided that I want to do a skull with some kind of a witch face, a witch hat. Yes. So these are some examples of what I drew. Oh, by the way, I'm Courtney. Oh, and so here I am touching everything. I gotta feel everything. So here are my various designs. I've got the skull, the spider web. So here I am drawing my skull, figuring out what does a skull look like. Couldn't remember where eyeballs go. I figured it out at some point. They're lower than I initially thought. So this is just a basic concept, like what am I going for here on the jacket? Oh, by the way, I'm embroidering a jacket. Embroidering. I'm embroidering a jacket. And here's my pattern. So I got more jackets to embroider after this one. This is my very first attempt at, I don't know any of this. So I'm deciding what pen to use. I have these washout pens I stole from my mother. You're supposed to put in some kind of a plastic pen. I didn't. I'm just using them as is. So I decided I wanted a little spider on the collar. I don't know what a spider looks like, so the verdict is out on whether this is actually a spider or not. This might be a bug, or a beetle, or a cockroach. I'm calling it a bug, sometimes a spider, but I'm kind of happy with it. So then I decided I need to draw out the back. The only other thing I could think of, the skull and hat. I didn't want to put too much on the jacket, but I didn't want to put not enough on the jacket, so this is what we're doing. So it takes me 10,000 years to get it placed right, and eventually I decide it's placed right, and then I can't get my paper placed right, and eventually that's, good. So I start to draw out my skull. Where is the center? Ish. No real measurements, just kind of doing whatever. Sometimes I can ramble a lot, and sometimes I have nothing to say. So the teeth are kind of fun. They're also kind of annoying, but I love the teeth. So, I mean, they're great. Also, I don't do any kind of pencil sketch. I just like straight go for it here and hope for the best. It is washout ink, so, don't press too hard and you're good. You're good. Just basic outline. That's all you need. You can draw literally whatever and then embroider it. Don't embroider it. They wash out, you're good. So I decided my witch hat needs to go the other direction because I definitely did not put this in the center, and I needed it to have some kind of like a little decoration. So I decided a spider. Again, it might be a bug or cockroach. What does a spider look like? Do spiders have 6 legs? Do spiders have 8 legs? I have no idea. It's a bug. So then I'm starting to think about what colors do I need to use? Oh, I got lots of colors. So I have my little embroidery thing, and then I have my mom's embroidery thing that I went and took. I have no idea how many colors came in mine. Hers came with 200 colors. Hers is the big one. I used most of mine. Did I already say that? Did I just say that? I used most of mine. Used most of mine, so I went and took hers. I still got a lot of colors to pick from, but I needed all of the colors to pick from. So the beginning half of this video, I really didn't know what I was doing. First time using this software, first time using any software like this at all. So I didn't do any overlays until halfway through the video. It's a little wonky. I kind of just, I did a thing. With this whole project, I just did a thing. But it kind of worked. I mean, it kind of worked. So I decided that my spider needed to be, well, I wanted it to be black, but I don't have very much black. So we're going to go with some kind of a gray. So I had to decide, is that gray, or is that gray green? I still don't know, but I'm thinking it was gray. So I'm putting away the little black that I had because I don't want to waste the black. I'm also putting away like a yellowish white because that's what I'm using for the teeth. And then this is all that's left in my little embroidery thing. Picked and pilfered and attempted to refill. Still got some good colors, but not a lot. This is my mom's. Much better. Brand new. All the colors. So I take like I think it's a gray. I take what I think is a gray. I check it to my shirt, which, I mean, now seeing later, it might still be green. I think it's gray. Whatever, green, gray, who cares? Like, gray, it's a bug. They both work, I guess. So I'm doing 3-strand threads for everything on this because it's easy. Pull everything in half. Got two wraps to go. So then I can't remember, obviously, what a spider looks like, and I just kind of make it a big blob. And now I'm thinking maybe spiders have like a separate head, and maybe a cockroach is the thing that's just a blob. I probably should have looked up what does a spider look like. Why can't I remember? So I do a simple satin stitch body, and then I do a running stitch. Is it a running stitch? Yeah, something like that. I just kind of do whatever I'm feeling in. My little bug. I do like my little bug. I mean, he should have a name. This is Larry. Larry, my little bug. I guess there's 2 bugs on this. This is Larry the little bug. The other guy doesn't have a name yet. Oh, he doesn't exist yet. The other guy will exist in a few days. This project took like a week. But Larry, my little bug. Oh, here he comes. I should have zoomed this up a little more. I have 0 patience. Oh, I gotta stop for now. Oh. Okay, I had to go for a second. Everybody came home and they brought dinner. And now they're all in bed. Or, I don't know, it looks like they all went to bed. So I'm going to try to be quiet. But I wanted to finish this. So here's my little bug. Little Larry. I forgot about little Larry. He's so cute. I mean, I like him. So, blah, 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 bug, bug, bug. Dinner was pretty good. I mean, I forget what else I was going to say. Oh, apologies for the audio. I'm also trying to figure out how to do that. So, spend a lot of time reading on Google. So here I am thinking about my bug, considering my bug. Is it even a spider? I am contemplating what a spider looks like. I don't know, but I still like it. So now I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna think about this jacket. It's a cute jacket. There's so many things that I can do to it, and I do have an exact second copy that you can see hanging in the background. I can do literally anything to these. They are so much fun to work with, and I was surprised that I was able to find 2 of the exact same ones. And then I have another one in a different style that I'm going to do something else with. I try to work primarily with these hoops lately because I do have, I think it's arthritis, I don't know, in my thumb, so that totally helps with the pains I get. Oh, guess my age. Okay, so now I'm going to do my skull. I'm going to outline the skull's face with, I think it's a back stitch that I'm using. Back stitch, running stitch. I honestly don't know the difference between those. But it's the one in the line where you go up halfway and then you go back down. And then I realize my phone is completely out of battery and I need to start using the other one. So I'm switching phones, and now here, oh yeah, I didn't know how to do the overlays yet, I guess, still. Yeah, that's not for a while. So, what am I doing here? I don't know. Why is it so far over? I was having so much trouble trying to stay centered in that camera. I have spatial reasoning issues. My apologies. We are looking at a piece of what I was doing. Not close enough. But you can see sometimes. I mean, can you though? Can you see it? There's my skull. My little skull face. What is even happening? I feel like this is all over the place. But you know, that's kind of me. This is a good representation of the boing 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 in my head. Oh, okay. I'm gonna fill the gap by just blathering. So I'm gonna blather. What shall I blather about? I embroider a lot these days because I got hurt at the beginning of this year. I can't really do a huge amount. So I do a lot of art and I fixate for a while on each specific art. And my fixation these days is embroidery. They're long-winded projects. Is long-winded even the correct usage of that same phrase? What's the difference? I have no idea. What was I talking about? So yeah, they still haven't fixed the spine issue, so I'm a little, I don't know what words are appropriate to say. I am mentally in an airplane most of the time. It's not a good thing, by the way. So here's my cute little skull face. I don't even remember my own process because this took so long to do. Ooh, the colors were so pretty. I love when art has lots of colors to pick from. I mean, I also love when an art is just neutral too. But it's fun when you have choices, lots of choices. Tones, shades. I feel like I had something that I was going to specifically say. You know, like I had a trajectory. I had a path. I no longer have a path. But now I'm going to start filling in this hat. I really liked this green, and I liked the way the green popped. And I thought the green looked good with the purple in my hand. But then I realized later, green looks great on the jacket. Purple doesn't really look even remotely how I wanted it to look. So I probably should have, I don't know, like strung them out over the jacket and really thought about it. That blue was a little bit hard to work with as far as choosing colors that I would usually choose. And since it's a witch's hat, it's okay that it's a little wobbly. Because, you know, for some reason witches don't use magic to make their clothes. They just, or maybe that's why their clothes are wobbly. Oh my goodness, I just started hearing music. That means... oh, okay, I remember. I was doing this in a big storm. I didn't really realize that that storm was going to actually happen because, you know, the weather is never what it says it is. But, what was I saying? I was very distracted while I was doing it. Just like I am now. Because everything kept flickering. The lights next to me kept flickering. And absolutely everything was distracting me. Hold on, I need a second. Noise is extremely distracting to me. I can't have too much noise all at once. Even though there's literally like two things making noise right now. It was two too many. Oh, one too many. Just the wrong too many's. So anyways, there was a storm going on. Hey look, I figured out how to do the overlay. Yeah, it wasn't too hard. I mean, storm, something about the storm. The storm. Oh yeah, it was like right above the house. It was not moving, it was not going anywhere. It was so loud. And I'm trying to just sit there because usually they pass pretty fast. So like, I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna waste time. I want to do this. I am determined. I have a project. I haven't had a project in a while. So, I actually think this is probably way before the storm. Because wasn't I doing the teeth in the storm? There were multiple days involved in this. But this must be day 2 because this is when I figured out the overlay. Oh yeah, my hair is different. Hey, Oh yeah, that was this morning. Oh my goodness, that was this morning. I just took my braids down. Was the storm this morning? No, that was last night. I have no concept of anything. That was last night. So this had to have been during the storm. This had to have been the beginning of the storm. Be careful when you move your embroidery hoop around not to put too much pressure on long spots like that. But it doesn't hurt the embroidery at all if you are gentle and you are cautious as you make it tight. I literally had something else I was going to talk about, but my brain left the building like 4 hours ago. 6 hours ago, I don't know, there was like a 15-minute window today where I felt like I knew what was going on, I had a plan, and I didn't write it down because you always think, I'm going to remember. That's such a good idea. There's no way I could possibly forget, right? I forgot. So, okay, here I'm starting the teeth, so this means it's about to switch to audio, and I'm just going to stop for a moment so that can be listened to. Mr. Dugas is on his way in because of all the booms and all the noise, and I am just looking out every window all the time because I'm worried about what's the surge? Surgeon. I'm gonna have to lower that. I need to pop my ears. So I had abruptly stopped after that happened because I do not need to be electrocuted twice in the same year. I did get electrocuted in January. It was not lightning, but it was still very intense. And I don't need anything like that to happen again so soon. Doesn't sound like a fun experience, especially not if it was lightning. Not that the other way was much better, I guess. So what am I doing here? I decided that I needed to fill in the eyes, but I'm a little lazy. This was taking so long, and I just wanted it to be done. I wanted a small project to begin with. I don't know if I ever even managed to say that. This was supposed to just be a quick, like 2 to 4 hour project. It wound up taking like 7 days. I mean, you only see what is 2 days, I believe. 3, I guess. I don't know. I've lost track. Here's another little bug. Oh, okay, so if that's Lil Larry, who is this? I don't know. He's the big bean, because he's a little bit bean-shaped. I don't think that was like spider at all either. So he's the big bean bug who spins spider webs. So I kept trying to decide a couple times if this was done or not. Like, I could keep adding more. I could add, oh look how cute they are together. I could add bats on the sleeves. I could add spider webs going up things. Ultimately, a couple people told me that that looked unfinished. So I decided that the fastest way to fix that particular problem was to do these. I was wrong. I should have taken one of my sister's ideas and done the stitching like the eyes. But I like that the texture is different. I really like textures. So I chose 4 different colors of beads out of my mother's bead collection. And I just kind of randomly put them here and there for texture. Click that. Oh, look at my little hat. So I decided that I needed those little lips under the head too. I had forgotten about those originally, and I don't even remember what color I was going to do them in, but then I wound up deciding I can use a little bit of black. It's not the end of the world. I need more black. So I think I'm done here. Can't figure out where to put that. There is a sewing machine right there, so I did put it in the spool of thread on the sewing machine. And now, after my many hours of work, I'm going to admire what I did. Oh, there is Lil Larry on his collar. There's Lil Larry again. Oh, I love Lil Larry. He has pinchers. I don't know if I put pinchers on Big Bean. It's a nice jacket. And I think that the back's pretty fun. I mean, I could have done more. I could have done so much more. I honestly could have spent my entire life working on this. Oh, little Larry, I didn't want him to be forgotten. He's so cute. I just genuinely love that bug. And here's the back. I think I was in the middle of a sentence.